Well, I guess that's that. That's the end of Corazon. He was shot by his brother and was left out in the snow to die. The way this chapter starts is actually a little confusing because I think you're getting panels from different memories of Doflamingo's past, but they're not necessarily happening in the time where he shoots his dad. Because Virgo is there and so is Treble. So I'm guessing those are the two members of the Don Quixote family that Doflamingo recruited or met first, which makes sense because Virgo is supposed to be the first Corazon. Now, I actually think that Treble is talking about two very different things in each of those panels. In one, he's talking about Doflamingo awakening King's Hockey, and in the second one, he's talking about, I believe, that it was Treble who gave Doflamingo his Devil Fruit ability. And that's why he says, should I give you the power of revenge, or something like that. I'm guessing that Treble was probably a Devil Fruit user by then, and he couldn't eat a second Devil Fruit, so he gave Doflamingo the String Fruit. Because we already know that the family knows a lot about Devil Fruits, just in general. Like how to find them, like where to market them. Now, I guess thanks to Caesar, how to produce artificial Devil Fruits. So I'm guessing a lot of that knowledge, from what I can see in this panel, may have come from Treble. I find it pretty interesting that Oda decides stylistically to have Doflamingo kill his family members with a pistol. I mean, because I know at that point when he was shooting his dad, he didn't have his powers. Maybe he did, I don't know. But he also shoots Corazon, and he did have his Devil Fruit powers then. And then he also shoots Law. I just don't think it's a coincidence that he repeats this pattern of killing people. Anyway, back inside the birdcage, Doflamingo is using his ability to make pirates kill each other, or kill their friends, right? Lucky for Drake, and we know for a fact that's Drake, he was outside of the barrier, so he was able to escape. Now, Baby 5 and Buffalo are flying around like in a helicopter, just scouting the area. And in one translation, it says, I think Baby 5 says something like, oh, the Marines intercepted a little boy, or they brought into custody a little boy. And so Doflamingo thinks that that's Law, when in fact it's Drake. But in this other translation that I read, it says something like, that little boy, Drake, asked for asylum. So he was actually wanting to get out of there and asked the Marines to take him in. So those are two very different sort of translations, and I wonder which one is right. This is interesting because it looks like Doflamingo ends up shooting Drake's dad. And we know that right now Drake is kind of near where Kaido is. And so, there's some theories saying that maybe he's working under him. I wonder how this dynamic is going to play out when it comes to Kaido and Doflamingo, But then again, it doesn't seem like Drake was really worried about his family in the first place. He just wanted to get out of there. But I don't know. I think Oda's going to have to do something with this at some point. Anyway, we see that Law is trapped inside of this dark container. And then later we find out that it's actually a treasure chest. And we find out that he can't make noise because Corazon used his ability on him so that he wouldn't be discovered. And I like this because it just means that Oda, the moment he gave Corazon that ability, because up until this point, it had basically been used as a joke, as a gag. And then in this chapter, the most important use that this ability ever gets is the fact that it kind of ends up saving Law's life in a way. Because Doflamingo was going to use Law to make himself immortal with the OP no Mi ability. And that would have killed Law, right? So, and there's this really small panel of Corazon meeting Sengoku, and I think what that does, actually this flashback has served, I think, to make Sengoku a more likable character. Unless you already liked him, then that makes him even more likable for you. Now, the way that this whole scene is structured actually really reminded me of a movie. It's not really about the Holocaust, but an Italian family does get sent to a concentration camp. It's called Life is Beautiful. In Italian, I think it's called La Vita Bella. And it's basically about this family or this dad that just tries to make the best out of a really bad situation and convince his little kid, because he's a little kid, that this concentration camp, it's all a game. So that really reminded me of this, because Corazon is just acting all goofy and stuff, and by the end he's like, I love you, Law, and Law's already laughing and stuff, and obviously he becomes aware of the tragedy that happens. But it's not just about saving Law, it's also about making sure that Law remembers him fondly. Because he knew that he was going to die, but he just wanted to make sure that the memory that he had, that Law had of him, was a nice one, and a happy one, and a fun one. Which is why he says, I'm sorry, Law, I lied to you, I am a Marine. And it turns out that Law already knew, so it's at this point didn't matter. Even up until his last breath, he was still making sure that Law was safe by trying to stay alive so that Law wouldn't be discovered, by keeping his ability activated. And once Corazon dies, with a smile on his face, I might add, the sound comes back to Law, and now he can just go out and cry. And that's how the chapter ends, with this giant sob and just shout of pain from Law. And the thing about this flashback is, I think it was just, well, this part of it anyway, it was just so well executed, because yes, it's sad, but at the same time, we knew it was coming, and yet it's just such a, I mean, for Corazon, I think this is like, I could not have imagined a better end for him, because it's like, I love you, Law, and then he dies protecting the one person that he cares about the most, and he dies with a smile on his face. So yes, it is emotional, but it's also, it has like this happiness intertwined with it. And then Doflamingo runs into Sudu, and he's like, oh shit, and they start bombing the island or whatever. I don't think this is the end of the flashback, just because I think there's something that needs to happen to Law first. I think it would be a really good opportunity to show us how Law sort of like build up his crew. Not take a long time to do it, but just see like, okay, so this is how I met Beppo, and this is how I met the others and stuff like that. Beppo, I think, is kind of like, I think he's going to be like Law's first experiment or operation, because there's no way that a polar bear should be talking, technically. So I think that he's going to take a human's essence or personality and put it into a polar bear at some point. I thought it was an incredible chapter, and I think Oda, the reason that this chapter opens up with Doflamingo killing his father is to get us, I guess, psychologically prepared for the fact that he's going to end up killing his brother in the same way. I still don't know how I feel about Doflamingo doing this, and I'm not justifying him or anything. It doesn't seem like he got any enjoyment out of this, like at all. Like, it's not something that he wanted to do. That's just the way it seems. Tell me your thoughts in the comment section below. Like the review, I appreciate that a lot. I think starting next week, I can start adding 3 comments per week, so make sure to leave your comments. Subscribe to my channel for more One Piece reviews, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye.